The big issue that emerged last night in the mayoral debate amongst 4 of the 5 candidates that are going to be on the ballot was the red light cameras. And they were on Channel 11 last night. Phil Ponce was there. And, that Ponce, he seems like everything's so calm and it seems so polite. But then every once in a while, he'll ask a question. They're like, what? Where'd that come from? And the red light cameras have become a big, big, big issue. And so each candidate has a different take on it. Here's Rahm.
Mayor, if red light cameras are about safety, why are your cars running them?
Well, as you know, even though I'm not driving, I've paid the bills. That is about safety because it does reduce side crashes and most accidents. All the data shows that.
If it's about safety, why are your cars running them?
Well, first of all, because the police officers are driving them. I pay them to make sure the systems has an integrity to them. Phil.
Phil, I'll have you killed. Phil, I don't know why you're asking me these questions. I'm going to take this half finger and stick it in your eye, Phil. Here's Alderman Fioretti.
It is not about safety. And the reason the mayor cannot say that it's revenue, even though it's revenue driven, is because it then evaporates the argument that that's been pushed in through the state legislature on why we have these cameras and what we can do about it. And as has been said over and over, this is about rear-end collisions increasing. Now, we should have been improving these intersections long ago and removing the cameras.
Chuy Garcia said this.
Here you have another example of tremendous borrowing and indebtedness by this administration, almost $2 billion, raising taxes in the form of fees, fines, and penalties, and then
is that better than a property tax increase?
And then helping his cronies with all of the favors that the Tribune series just reported on this past week. Those are the priorities of this administration, balancing the budget through regressive fines, fees, and penalties on little guys in the city of Chicago.
I'm not quite sure if he's for or against him there. He just took that as an opportunity to come out against Rahm Emanuel. I'm not sure if Chuy Garcia wants red light cameras or not, but here's Willie Wilson.
I would shut those red light cameras down. It's wrong to be on the back of certain citizens in Chicago and not on all citizens, all right? So
and yet one does have a choice about the red lights. I mean, you don't have to run them.
He ran them. Let's face it, all right? He should be same thing by the law. If he should pay double for them, all right?
Should the red light cameras stay or should they go? That is a very simple question. I have the answer. They should go. And not because I run a lot of red lights. I have not received a single red light camera ticket and I live in the city, work in the city in over 10 years, I think. About 10 years, exactly 10 years. And I don't think I was driving. I think at the time my 16-year-old daughter was driving the car. As a matter of fact, that's exactly what I said to her when I asked her to pay the fine, even though she doesn't remember ever driving the car. All right, Barnett Fogel is with us. He has been with us a number of times. Barnett Fogel actually is his name. He prefers that because that's actually how it's spelled. The red light ticket doctor. And okay, doctor, do you think that there's enough heat now on the red light cameras? Because people do see this, and I knew this was going to happen. And when the speeding tickets really start to come out with these speeding cameras, as they get more and more pervasive, people are just going to be sick and tired of this thing. And yes, people should not run red lights, and it is a big safety issue. But as Alderman Fioretti pointed out, you're seeing an increase in rear endings. Isn't that correct?
The red light doctor says, take 2 doses of honesty and call me in the morning. These traffic signals, which are closely associated with the cameras, have been short-timed yellows for years. They clip 2 or 3 tenths of time of a second off the yellows. The cameras go into action, and the money goes in the pockets. I have to say this because there was a Inspector General's investigation late last year into this, and it was and I was there personally. It was the biggest whitewash I ever saw in my whole life. My comment was when asked, snow came early this year in October in Chicago, because it's a total snow job. If the mayor wants to write it off by saying, well, I paid the ticket, well, what about the kids that he always talks about? What about the kids? His lead car, when he sees the second car in his parade come down the street, his lead car could pull over and wait for the second car. So they don't have to run the lights. So I think that his policy has to be changed on that. You just can't keep on running the lights and paying the bills and think you're okay.
Well, and that's what you do, like when your relatives come in from out of town and they're following you somewhere, and they're not used to driving. That's what you always do. You wait for the car behind. If you get if a truck gets in between, you pull over to the side. They then pull over to they come in. I don't even know and again, I don't begrudge anybody carrying security because who knows what the threat matrix around the mayor is. It's probably more significant than we know, and so I mean, if he has to carry police protection with him, I understand that. But certainly there's a way to do it. How about then when he moves, and I wouldn't even be opposed to this, although it would keep him from getting reelected, that his police escorts run hot through the city, and everywhere he's going, he's like a presidential motorcade. There's right through the intersections.
They could slow down.
They could, but I mean, I'm not even. His doing it is less of an issue than him putting it on the rest of us, which is the problem. I understand the irony of it, and that, yes, it's hypocritical because he's running them and he's telling us that we have to pay the fines, but now he's paying the fines. It's coming off the backs of people who can't really afford it, and not so much even the red light. It's the speeding ones that are really going to get people, because the speeding ones, people proceed in this city at the pace that it allows them. Michigan Avenue, which I'm staring out at right now here at the Tribune Tower, right at basically the river and Michigan Avenue, between Oak Street and the river, those lights are perfectly timed, and when they're moving, it's probably 40 miles an hour at least.
Remarkable. There's no cameras there.
Yeah, but if there were a park or a school, God forbid, anywhere within 100 miles of it, they would want to put the speeding cameras, and the thing is that seems to me, if you stop and you think about what's really happened here, and we've talked about this before, the number of actual incidents that they say they are solving or preventing is very low. Numbers of kids who've been struck by speeding vehicles or in and around school zones, it's a very rare occurrence in Chicago.
Exactly. And if their statistics have been blown out of the water with facts time and time again. When they claim so much improvement in T-bone and everything, that's a farce. I won't even entertain the conversation on it. We've proven that with a professor from the state of Illinois, or Illinois University.
And a lot of those, by the way, and I want to stop you right there for a second, Barnett. A lot of those T-bone accidents happen in the overnight, and that's.
Let me tell you something. If the cameras cannot, the three leading causes of red light camera violations or red light violations are drunk drivers, high on drugs, emergency first responders, and distracted driving. How is a camera going to fix that? If a driver's not paying attention or is drunk, that camera's not going to fix that. It can only record it.
Right. Don't a lot of people get caught, though, on a left turn? Isn't that one of the biggest issues?
No, the right turn is actually the biggest issue. Left turn Illinois is what is known as a yellow permissive state, meaning if your front bumper tires go past the white stop bar in making a left turn, you're technically in the intersection, and you have the right of way, even though the light may turn red.
Oh.
They get you on the right turn on red is because people don't slow down and stop. They think slowing down's enough. You have to stop. But they've got these, when you go up to a right turn on red, it's like playing roulette with a computer. You're going to lose. The computer is far more efficient than you are. Other towns, like Florida, says you can make a safe and prudent right turn. It doesn't mean you have to come to a complete stop. In fact, because of that, they've thrown the cameras out of New Jersey, and they're trying to in Florida now. We're trying to do it here.
Okay, if you get a red light camera, by the way, the red light camera doctor is there to help you. What's your website?
It's redlightdoctor.com.
Red light doctor.
Doctor spelled out. And we offer a free analysis, but don't send me any tickets where they've already been paid and you want to know how bad or how wrong or how right the ticket was. And please, don't, if your court date is the next day, Don't call me the day before. I can't do that. It's not fair to. I've had people calling me 5 and 10 and 15 tickets. What do I do?
You know who you remind me of now? You remind me of a traffic court judge. You're doing the exact same, like a traffic court judge. When you walk into traffic court, they're like, all right, I don't want anybody to give me any excuses. I don't want anybody telling me, oh, I had a doctor's appointment. I don't want anybody saying anything. All I want is if you can prove you weren't there at this time, that's the only thing I want to hear. All right, Burnett, thanks very much. It's always a pleasure, man.
You're welcome. I sound like that because I spend a lot of time
in traffic court. Yeah, usually they just make you a judge. Right. Yeah, that's what I don't want to hear anything. It is the most amazing thing. Burnett, thank you very much.
Thank you, sir. Bye-bye.